It's time for us to get into a conversation about the Cedi Summit.
You've been wondering what it all is about.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to find out now.
Right now. Because we've been joined by the host of Point of View and also, let me say they are co-hosts of CBS.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're here. He comes sometimes to give us sports. Today he didn't show up on sports, but it's okay. We're cool. He's here anyway. Nathan Kwao and Bernard Avle. Good morning, gentlemen.
Hi.
Good
morning.
Welcome.
Thank you.
We've invaded your studio.
Yeah, we
It's
like
a good
it.
invasion.
We like it.
Invaded more.
CBS has come
Yeah.
to Breakfast Daily.
I was actually taking Breakfast Daily on radio this morning. Calvin's report. I was stealing
okay.
the audio.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, when he was
That's
interviewing.
Okay.
Yeah, but when you were talking, I cut your voice.
No, it's okay. We're not important. We know.
It's good to hear Calvin's on CBS. Yes. So, the Cedi Summit. Celebrating at the Alisa Hotel, 9 a.m. What's going into the Cedi Summit and why did we decide to do this?
So I'm sure you know this month is our business month,
Yes.
the City Business Festival, and we've been doing topics every week. We felt that this year's business month has come at a very interesting time. World leaders say we are in the era of the 3 C's.
Okay.
Yes, so we are in the era of COVID, we are in the era of climate, and we're in the era of conflict. So basically, what's happening in Jukwa, you can say there's climate issues, right? Rivers overflowing their banks, extreme weather. We are in a post-COVID era. Indeed, GHA is talking about COVID resurging in parts of Ghana, in China as well. And then we're also in an era of crisis, in conflict, where you have the Ukraine-Russia war. So that's the framework. Now, these 3 C's have led to the 3 F's. The 3 F's. We have a food crisis,
Yes.
we have a fuel crisis, and we have a finance crisis. So your food crisis essentially means that this week I was looking at food prices in one of the markets in Techiman. Cassava price has increased by over 120%.
Whoa.
Every food item has gone up.
From same time last year?
Yes.
Wow.
And probably I'll share this with almost every food item they surveyed. Rice, maize, cocoyam, everything has gone up. And it's not just Ghana. Globally, there's a food crisis. Why? Because apart from drought in parts of the world, there's also the issue of fertilizer. Yes. Apparently, Ukraine produces a lot of the parts of the stuff we need to produce fertilizer. So when you have a fertilizer crisis, it means you have a food crisis, right? And the food crisis is not just historical food. We also have a food crisis in the future because you can't plant more. You're going to have more problems. Then you have a fuel crisis. World prices of food have gone up through the roof, okay? And then, of course, finance. Cost of finance has also gone up, all right? So what do all these things mean? It's a global situation. The World Bank did what they call their global growth outlook. Last year, they said 2021, we grew at 5.7%. At the beginning of this year, they said we'll grow at 4.1%. From 5.7 to 4.1, it's not that bad. Well, last month, they did another report. They said, actually, we're going to grow at only 2.9. Now, you have a world growth crisis, and then you have an inflation. So when you can't grow and your prices are up, it leads to something called stagflation. So we are in a lot of trouble.
We're in to sum it all
globally.
up.
So what we're saying is that we need to bring it home.
Okay.
We need to bring it home.
So through the Cedi Summit, you're attempting to break all of this down.
Bring it home.
In a couple of hours.
Yes.
And talk about the Ghana situation as it pertains to the global crisis.
Nathan
of the 3 Cs
will
and 3
explain
Fs.
why international issues are very important, because a lot of people think, oh, Russia, Ukraine, Charlie, it's not my back case. Me, I want my road to be fixed. He will tell you why these things are important, and I'll come to what the details of the Cedi Summit will be.
Why are these things important?
Well, because a lot of the things that happen out there do have a bearing on the way we live our lives. A lot of people think, like Bernard said, a lot of people think that, they are bombing each other in Kharkiv and Kiev. It doesn't, well, it affects you. And I think that this period, that between, say, February and now, all the things we have experienced in terms of the finance, economy, and all of that, a lot of people are now beginning to see the correlation there is, or the relation between what's happening in Russia and in Ukraine, and possibly China and other places. And we see those effects on us down here. So it's important to understand what is going on out there and to see what it means for you out here who probably initially thought there was no relationship. That relationship is, well, it's truly and it's alive. It's true. It lives. It's there. And we will put that all of that into perspective when we have the Cedi Summit, seeing that what happens globally has an effect on us down here. And we'll go into conversations about what it means for us, what possible solutions are on the table in terms of policy direction, or what research is teaching us, and what each of those proposed solutions could mean for us going forward. At what cost will it be to our pockets, to our economy, to our plans going forward? That's why we're going to have that conversation next Monday.
What I find interesting, though, is that, a question that pops in mind is that, has that relationship always existed, or it is as a result of the shrinking of the globe, as it were?
Yes, I mean, because of globalization, borders only exist geographically and on paper, but borders are very fluid. So whatever happens elsewhere will have a bearing either closely or further down the line in terms of the process. So those things have always existed, and with globalization changing and with the world changing and it becoming smaller, things that are happening 10,000 miles away are having an effect on you as though they were happening in your space. So it's very important that relationship is painted clearly for everybody to see. That really is the basis of the Cedi Summit, and everything we'll talk about is built on just that basic understanding that whatever we are experiencing as a country is because things are coming together in other parts of the world, and we are all feeling the effects.
But Bernard, why is Cedi doing this? Now, you talk about a conversation of this level that has such a national theme to it and includes geopolitics and things of, a global nature.
National and international.
Exactly.
Field.
So why has Cedi decided to take up this conversation? And is this something that should be happening on a government level? Why is this a Cedi project?
That's a very good question. I think we see one of the things media does is to be a platform for discourse. So there are many things media does. We report news, we analyze information, but we're also a platform for public discourse. And I feel for a leading brand like Cedi, we should be leading the most important conversation. What makes Cedi different is that we always place our pulse on what really matters. So it's not the fact that something interests people. So somebody says it's not everything that interests the public that is in the public interest. So what we try to do is to shape public opinion. We are thought leaders. So our role is to say, guys, because of the strategic position we sit in, you see, media is interesting. We are able to hear from those on the ground. So Calvis goes to where he goes, people talk to him, but he also gets the MP to speak. He's able to also link with other media everywhere. So we're in a very unique position. We can bring it home. So we're basically saying, these are the drivers of global conversations everywhere. As I talk to you now, you remember last month, the Minister of Agriculture said he was going to ban the export of grains. Well, Uganda government did the same thing. The Kenyan president rather said, okay, for us, we depend on Asia, Russia, and co for grain. So we're going to remove duties from grain. So everybody is doing different things to keep the grains they have. Our Minister of Agriculture is currently in the BA inspecting markets and farms, trying to check out what's happening. So what's happening in the global economy is affecting us. So our idea is that every conversation must be had from the right context. So it's not the fact that we are talking about food, but what are the global drivers? And also, one advantage we have is that because of our credibility, we have good partners. So the Institute of Statistical and Economic Research, ISE, have agreed to partner us. ISE, you can say, is the most credible research institution within a university. Statistical and Economic Research. Very excited about the topic. So they are like our, you can call them technical partners, for want of a better word. So we conceptualized the write-up with Professor Kwate, who's been researching into this, a macroeconomist himself. And then we have Jeff Gable. Now, ABSA is probably the biggest bank in Ghana, one of the most impressive banks on the continent. The guy we're getting is the chief economist of the bank. So he's based in South Africa, right?
He knows
so it tells you that even banking is not just finance. So you see, the banks are thinking economics now, because they're looking at global markets, they're looking at where to put your money and all of that. So Jeff, we've interviewed him a couple of times on platforms that ABSA have organized. This is the first time he's going to be on this platform. And then we have David Ofosu-Dorte, who will talk about the global geopolitics, new realities, and what it means for Africa. So we're essentially bringing three very important minds together to try and sort of global, continental, national.
Okay.
All right. So they will set the scene by telling you what's happening in the world. They will explain some geopolitics, Nathan's people, what all these things mean. And then very importantly, what kind of economic choices? I'll give you an example. As we speak, inflation has been going up. The central bank has been trying to raise the interest rate. It's not working. The Kenyan finance minister says they are not going to raise interest rates. The Kenyan governor. Every country is doing different things. So all the economics we've studied is being tested around this time. We are in a period very similar to the 1970s, where the global stagflation led to a lot of things. So these are not ordinary times. So what Cedi is trying to do is to bring meaningful conversation to a very difficult time for the world. That's what we're trying to do.
Okay. So just details about the event. So it's happening at the Elisa Hotel. We know that on the 27th of June.
Next Monday. Starts at 9:30 to about 1:32 p.m. We'll have major presentations done by Jeff Gable of APSA, then Professor Peter Korte, and then David Ofosu-Dorte. Now, when those presentations are done, then we'll have a panel discussion.
Okay.
We'll have,
AGI will be on the panel. We have Bank of Ghana, Ministry of Finance. We have private. So basically, they will give us the big picture, and then we'll delve into it.
Okay.
For me, I think if you're a businessman, you run a school, you are a head of a household, you're an economic student, you are a self-employed person, you're an unemployed person. This is a conversation we must all be having. So it's not like some suit-wearing business classes alone. But you need to register.
So how do people register?
You can call the number, I think it's 0558 973 973.
Okay. Or maybe 0205 973 973.
So those two numbers, yes. So they'll put the numbers on the screen.
Okay, great.
Yes, but there are two numbers. The reason you need to register is we need to know that you're coming.
Yes. And then we can prepare and, sort out the seating and all of that. Because, of course, we can't take the whole of
limited.
Very limited seating. But we would love to get a lot of people registering and taking part. Because, like Mana says, a conversation that affects everybody. You might think that this is a big ticket topic, this is high level topic. No, this is a conversation that everybody must have. And once everybody gets that understanding, it makes things easier, for you to digest world issues, to comprehend what is going on. And maybe at your own personal level, as a small business, medium-sized business, big business, you can start to think of what it is you want to do to insulate yourself a bit.
Something quickly to that. I see a lot of people only see what is happening in Ghana as a Ghana problem. So I know a lot of people who are traveling abroad, nurses and doctors want to leave. I'm not saying don't leave, but try and understand what is happening in the countries you're going into. How are they dealing with the inflation? They are dealing with it in different ways. Some countries are giving subsidies. Some are recruiting certain kinds of people. What is Canada doing? Why is the Western world looking for certain kinds of skills? Why are people going to Turkey? All of that is because of the new mix of problems we face. So you can't be a happy economic agent if you are ignorant of global
you need to be plugged in.
Right? So we're trying to lead that conversation, and hopefully you guys will help us bring it home with your live coverage next week, Monday.
So it'll be airing on Cedi
TV,
on our online platforms as well. Can people join virtually?
I'm sure they can.
They sure can.
They can.
But just again, people just check out our platforms. All the information is there. Again, this is next week, Monday, the 27th of June at the Elisa Hotel. Please do call the number and register. There it is, the Cedi Summit.
0558 973 973.
Okay. Again, it's a conversation about the global economic situation and its impact on sub-Saharan African countries and the Ghanaian economy. And thanks to our sponsors as well.
It's great to have such partners.
MTN, IT Consortium,
APSA, all these. Because it's important. Not only are they are just they are partnering, but you find that these people are also key players in this local economy. So it's interesting to hear their own perspective and to see that they are very interested in us having this very interesting conversation about the economy globally, the things that are happening, and why we are experiencing some of the things we are experiencing as a country in this space.
I guess this conversation will make everybody a little more patient with the situation in Ghana, considering that we're actually not. It's not an island situation.
But they see, let's not preempt that, because you see, everybody is facing the same problem. But everybody is also taking decisions that will solve their problem. So the question is, are we doing the same? You may have the same questions in the exam, but the way you approach it determines what you get at the end of the day. So we have the same question, but how are we approaching it? And I think that what we are trying to do is to bring more minds into the discussion as to what to do. I don't think this is the time for one person to get up and say, I want to do this. Because difficult times require a different kind of thinking. So we don't think one person should say, hey, I have all the answers. Nobody does. Nobody does.
Thank you.
Good point.
Thank you very
Bernardino
much.
Koku Avlet, thank you. Nathan Opodai Kwao, thank you very much. We know you're rushing back down to the radio studio, but thanks for making it here this morning to talk about the Cedi Summit.
Yes, we're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.